go in and give a soundtrack, they craft the animation around the sound bites?
No. We're dubbing shows that already exist.
So you do a click track on
So,
dubs or
no, we watch the show, and you do it while you're watching the show.
Right, but you get the beats that come in like you get.
When some people do beeps, the beeps are obsolete. Here's what the beeps are. Okay, so from ye really antiquated olden times, if you've ever heard of it called looping, it's the same thing. Looping, ADR, dubbing, it's all the same thing. I think he already knows what this is. But anyway, so what they did is, so when they would have to, for some reason you would have to re-record the dialogue for something, what they would do is they would make an extra copy of the film, and then they would have magnetic recording audio tape, and then these would be the same lengths, and so then you would have this loop of the film and this loop of the recording tape that would be the same length, and then they would get them up to speed, and then you would hear in your headphones, beep, 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 and then you talk at the point where that imaginary fourth beep would be. And so the reason they needed these beeps was because that was the system that they were working with. It was literally 2 loops of film. Now it's all done digitally, so if I come in 5 seconds late, they just move it and they put it in the place. You don't need the beeps. The beeps are so distracting. I've worked with beeps before. I mean, you're in the moment, you're trying to deliver this line with the right emotional intensity and, think about what you're saying and put yourself in the moment. And I'm thinking about it, and then they're beep, beep, beep. It's like so distracting. So yes, when I work at places that have beeps, I have to do the beeps. But they're just obsolete. Here's a story. I don't know if you guys have ever heard the story. So there was this lady, and every Sunday for family dinner, she would cook a ham. And she'd cut this end off, she'd cut the end off the ham, and then she'd put the ham in the oven, she'd cook the ham. And so she always did this. And one day her daughter said to her, "Mom, why do you always cut that part of the ham off?" And she said, "Well, I don't know, honey, because my mom always cut that part off. And I just think, you're just supposed to cut that, you don't want that part of the ham, you just cut it off." And so then this lady started thinking about it. So she was like, I don't know, I think I'll call Mom and ask her. So this lady, she calls her mom, and her mom, she says, "Mom, you know how you would always cut that part of the ham off before you cook the ham. So now, why did you do that?" She said, "Oh, because I only had a pan that was so big, and I had to cut that part of the ham off to fit the ham in the pan. So the beeps are the part of the ham that you cut off, and you don't even know why you're cutting off the ham. You don't need the beeps. You're watching the show. Here's the script. You say it. They're going to move it. Any place where they use the beeps, they still have to move it. You can't, no human could get their mouth to start at that exact second of that frame when the mouth is opening. So they're going to move it. Even if you go someplace and they do the beep, beep, beep thing, if they want to cut the end off of their ham, then that is what's happening. So yes, there are places that do the beep, beep, beeps, and a lot of people like it. They're used to it. They're conditioned. It's Pavlovian. They want the beeps. Like, they start salivating, like beep, beep, beep. They want the bone. But that is the origination of the beeps, and so, like I said, some studios still do use them. Some actors even long for the comfort of their beeps. That's like a security blanket of sorts. But I personally find it distracting because, I'm trying to do the acting part without the beeping. So, there you go. Tiffany's thoughts on beeps. Yes.
I have one more question.
Yes. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
As far as Hell Girl goes.
Oh, Hell Girl. Yes.
Did they ever explain why they never dubbed the next 2 seasons?
I have no idea.
Oh, I can.
I am not involved in that, so he knows.
So it's less that they didn't it was about the rights. Like the Sentai Filmworks got the rights before Funimation got it. So it wasn't so much they didn't want to dub it. They just DVD sales weren't that great for Hellgirl season 1. So Funimation didn't really have much of a reason to pursue the next 2 seasons. So Sentai Filmworks got it for seasons 2 and 3, and you know what? The English cast is very busy. They're Funimation, they're licensed with Okatron, so we're just not going to do a dub, subtitle only. So that's why.
Okay, so that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah,
it is depressing.
Something that I've seen that's a really big full circle event is back when I started working in anime in the mid-90s, it used to go like this. A company would release a show, and it was subtitled, and then if it was really successful, then they would dub it. And then they got into what was called the golden era, or the golden age of dubbing. And that was when they just dubbed everything. Gosh darn it, we're just gonna dub it just because we can. And people are buying all this anime and it's fantastic, so let's just dub the heck out of everything. And then everything went in the toilet. So now it's kind of back to, they'll subtitle it, and then if it does well, they might dub it later on. Or if they kind of have an idea that it is gonna be a big title, then they'll dub it. But yeah, a lot of shows, they just don't do well enough to get that subtitling. Are you stretching, or do you want to say something about my Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I had a question.
It's dual purpose. And go ahead.
I think my two birds. Anyway,
Yes.
when you got the call for Golden Boy, what exactly did they tell you you were going to be?
Okay. Golden Boy. Okay, there is a story actually with Golden Boy. So I can remember, because now we did Golden Boy, that's before Evangelion, so that's a long time ago, 1996. And I really didn't know anything about it, but Matt Greenfield was directing that, and somehow he just had this idea that I could do that character. And she's this really tall, voluptuous blonde who's wearing almost a dress. It's like a stretched out napkin or something. I don't know. Anyway, so he had this idea that I could do that character, and I did. And it was awesome. I mean, I loved it. It was great fun. I didn't know what it was until we actually went in and started working on it. I actually worked on 4 out of the 6 episodes of Golden Boy. But you know, the first one is really the big one. The one that the folks talk about, you know. I hope I didn't upset that guy when I was making fun of him, because I have a feeling he might like this. But I'm sorry, it's just like cutting off the end of your hand. That's why I love the ham story. I didn't make up the ham story. I don't know where it came from. My grandmother told me. So.